Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Get the Shot, brought to you by Tamron Australia. My name is Joe and I am your host. Today with me, I've got Greg Cromie. He is a photographer, blogger, loves Melbourne, and does the Random Photography Show and the
Camera Life Podcast.
Camera Life Podcast. I was so close. I had it on the tip of my tongue.
You did well. And the pronunciation is Cromie.
Cromie?
Cromie.
Should I go from the top?
No, leave it in. It's fine. Everyone gets it wrong.
Yeah.
Usually people put a B in there and make it Crombie.
Okay.
I've had that my whole life, so it's fine.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. Welcome.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. It's so bizarre to be here and be on the other side of the interview, because normally I interview people.
I find that you're a really good chatty person though, so
Oh.
I don't think this would be any trouble for you.
No, we'll be fine.
I guess first off, you've put yourself out there a lot. You do 2 podcasts a week. What is something that audiences probably don't know about you?
Oh gosh, that's hard because I can get on the odd ramble, and I'm very open about myself and my life and my past and things like that. A lot of people probably don't know that I'm a massive nerd for gaming.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we were just talking about it before we jumped on here. Big Nintendo fan, have been my whole life. I think the Switch 2 is the greatest handheld gaming device ever made, and I recommend everyone get one.
Oh, fantastic. That sort of relates. You guys had on your show like a toy-related competition.
We did, yeah. So I did an article so I also work for Lucky Straps, which is a Bendigo-based brand. We make leather camera straps, and Lucky Straps is also the Camera Life podcast, and so one supports the other. But I wrote an article about toy photography because I've always loved doing toy photography. I think it's fascinating because you can create these little micro worlds without having excessive gear. And the article that I wrote was about how to get into toy photography, how to make it simple. You don't need expensive lighting, you don't need backdrops. You've probably got everything you need already at home. And it can be a good project you do with your kids or your grandkids. So I wrote this article and Justin loved it. Justin, who is the founder of Lucky Straps and my co-host on the Camera Life podcast. You'll hear his name a lot. He loved it. And so we did a competition on the podcast for our viewers to send in their best toy photos. And even Justin got into it, he's never done anything like that before. Granted, he over-engineered the whole lighting camera setup, but yeah, no, it was great. And so I'd taken a lot of photos of some of my collectible Nintendo stuff.
Yep.
And I've since done a lot more of that for another brand that I do some writing for.
It's interesting that you mentioned this because not too long ago, I interviewed a guy named Brian who does Lego photography, and he will take like Lord of the Rings minifigures. He's from Auckland.
Yeah.
And like put them in the wild and stuff like that and build these scenes. And
yeah, I follow a lot of guys that do that on Instagram. There's a guy called Sergeant Bananas.
Okay.
And there's another one, and we almost got him on the podcast, but something came up. And Father Figures. If you're on Instagram, check out them because some of their they'll get action figures like Marvel, DC, Ninja Turtles, all those sorts of things, and they'll create whole sets in micro scale, and they'll have fireworks exploding behind stormtroopers and smoke and slime running through like a subway for the turtles to live in, and really clever stuff.
So cool, yeah.
Yeah, but they're all working in this tiny scale, so they don't need a big studio. And a lot of them do it, outdoors, especially in the snow. I've seen a lot of people do Lego photography in the snow.
Yeah.
Where they'll half bury a ship, in the snow, and there'll be a fire in the background, and yeah, really clever.
Apparently some people in those toy communities don't like it when some of these action figures and toys and Lego sets are put in the wild, or you kick sand or dirt on them and stuff like that. They get a little bit upset.
Yeah, well, it takes all types to make the world go round.
Yeah.
So,
how long have you been doing the podcasts for?
Oh gosh, I think it's been about 2 years. We've done over 185 episodes.
Incredible.
So that's both podcasts. It's the one podcast. So we have the Camera Life podcast is our overarching brand, and every Thursday morning we interview a photographer, and those are live interviews, and they go for about 2 hours. And then every Monday evening we have our random photography show where we talk about the previous week's news, product releases. We might do live unboxings. On that show we have a live call-in phone number, so are always live. So people can call and ask questions live, like an old school
Fantastic.
radio show.
That's so cool. Why did you guys want to lean into the live component?
It's a great question. We get asked it a lot because a lot of people feel that live would be harder than this sort of setup of pre-recording. But there's a couple of reasons why we do it. First and foremost is that I'm crap at video. I'm a photographer. I'm no good at video at all. And I'm quite happy to share that. But Justin shoots a lot of video. He's very clever with that sort of stuff. But he's a lazy editor and he didn't want to edit 180 episodes, 2 episodes a week.
Okay.
So we decided to go live, to stick with the live format. And that way our viewers, which is slowly growing, our viewers can comment in the chat. They can ask questions of a guest. And we're getting, immediate feedback going both ways. And then, when we have the Monday night show, we have a segment where it's called Your Images. Might need to work on that title, but it's called Your Images. And our viewers can email in their images to us and we'll bring up the image on the show on a Monday night and we'll talk to it. And we say, send in one image and maybe a behind the scenes shot if it's relevant. It adds context and a little story about your experience. Camera settings are great, but what was your experience? And so that way our viewers become part of the show.
Yeah.
So they're in there, we're commenting. Sometimes we'll have guest co-hosts on the Monday night. We've had Glyn Lavender, who you guys have had as well. Once we could sort of contain Glyn and get him on track, because that can be hard to do. Love you, Glyn.
It's very tough.
He is tough to keep.
You know how some dogs, when you let them off the lead in the park, they just cause a
ears
mech
back.
yeah, exactly.
Bolting. That was him.
That's Glyn.
Yeah.
Another person you've had on the podcast is me.
I have had you on the podcast. Yeah, we interviewed you.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, that's okay. It was our pleasure. Yeah. The thing that we often say on the show that we love what we do, and when I'm having conversations online or in person with people that watch the show, and I'll say we love what we do. It's just, and it's the absolute truth. It's so much fun.
I'm so glad. The photography podcast community in Australia is really, really, really small, we've found. And we've actually been doing a bit of research and assessing, and we are still the only third-party lens company that has a podcast here at Tamron.
Wow.
Which is interesting because it seems like an obvious thing leaning into podcasts. It's only Australia's fastest growing media platform. But also you have to ask yourself, well, why doesn't anyone else have one? And so
my answer to that is I think that because if it's associated with a brand, it's more of a job than it is an enjoyment. So, with the Camera Life podcast, Lucky Straps is a product that we sell. It's Justin's baby. It has been for about 12 years. And very small team. There's Justin, Jim, who's also on the podcast often, and Yelena, which is Justin's partner. And they're the guys in Bendigo that do most of the Lucky Strap stuff. I do a little bit of customer support and help out when we go to things like BFOP and things like that. But Justin loves the podcast process so much. And he consumes a lot of media, especially from YouTube. That's like his main viewing platform.
I think that's how I've gotten good at what I'm good at, is by watching more than doing, strangely enough.
Yep. And it doesn't have to be photography related. You can just watch other podcasts and other presentations and other videos, and you pick and take what you like from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we've gotten to a point with the Camera Life now where some of our super fans, our longtime viewers, they're on every show watching.
Amazing.
And if they can't be there, they'll jump on for 5 minutes and say, hey guys, I can't watch live tonight, but I'm going to watch it back tomorrow at work or while I'm driving to here or there. And, and then every now and then we'll get an email from a viewer just saying, just want to let you know what the podcast means to me. And that's so rewarding.
No, it's the best.
When someone says, every Monday night, it's my regular thing, for whatever reason, things could be tough or there's a lot going on, but every Monday night I stop and I listen to the Random Photography Show.
We don't have too many recurring viewers on our podcast. Some of our clips do pretty well. At the time of recording this, we have a clip with 223,000 views.
Get out of town.
And there's so many arguments and stuff in the comments section. His name's Colin Rosewarne. He's a Tamron ambassador. And he only shoots JPEG and doesn't edit
I
his
saw the
photos.
clip.
Okay, yeah.
I'm amongst the crowd. Yeah, I saw it.
So
Yeah.
thankfully, so far, no one has made any negative comments towards Colin
Yeah.
or Tamron, but people are sort of arguing about whether to shoot RAW or JPEG.
Yeah.
And everyone's correct. Everyone, if you're shooting photography and you're enjoying it, however you do it is
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine.
Well, Andrew Hall from Fujifilm Australia.
Yeah.
He's a motorsport photographer. He's soon to retire, but he's traveled the world, photographing like Le Mans and endurance races in Dubai and all those sorts of things. And he has always shot JPEG.
Okay.
And so when you go to events where Fujifilm Australia, they'll have these huge kind of backlit panels of his work, like massive, like 2 meters by 2 meters.
Yeah.
And it's a JPEG.
And it all looks fantastic.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he's a great guest. I've known him for ages, but he has like a nerve disorder. It's always made it hard for him. He has braces on his arms and legs.
Oh, right.
And he goes out to every motorsport event. He's retiring soon, but
Does that make him steady, all the braces?
I don't know. No, I think it just stops him from being in pain and falling over. But
Okay. That's way more important.
that's
than
way more
being
important. Yeah, probably, yeah.
Well, moving on to your photography.
Yeah.
You do a lot of street photography, and Melbourne is like one of your loves.
It is, yeah.
Did you grow up in Melbourne?
I did, yeah. I grew up in Airport West.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so out in the burbs. My folks are still in the same house. Yeah, I moved to, and then I moved to inner city. I moved into sort of the Prahran area when I started university.
Yep.
Some 30-something years ago.
And what made you fall in love with Melbourne and want to take photos of it?
I think Melbourne's just got an amazing diversity. You know, you go from somewhere like Airport West, and then you go into somewhere like Prahran or South Yarra, or you go to, Coburg or Collingwood, and it's so different. Everywhere you go, there's these pockets of difference. And I think that Melbourne just has something about it, something about the architecture, something about how it's been laid out. It just sings to me when I'm doing street photography.
Yeah.
And I love nothing more than, and I'm mostly a lone wolf when I do street, but just walking, have some music on, camera always in hand with a wrist strap. And I do that. People often, say, what's the biggest learning that people could have when it comes to doing street photography? And I say, well, leave your bag at home. Leave your camera bag at home. Just take one camera, one lens, spare battery in your pocket, and head out the door.
And turn the camera off between photos.
Well, that too, yeah, that too. And always have the camera in your hand. Because I say to people, often I'll do street walks with groups, and we'll get to a really great spot, and there'll be amazing light, and there'll be people passing and going in and out of the beams of light, and they'll see a shot. They go, "Oh, I'm going to photograph that," and they pull their bag out, and they open it up, or they take it off and take their camera out, and it's too late. The moment that caught your attention that you thought that is worth photographing has already gone. But if you have your camera in your hand, your core settings already dialed in, all you have to do is lift and take the shot.
Ooh,
Hey, do you like that?
Get the shot.
Oh,
You're
I
so
almost nailed it.
close.
I was so close.
Thank you, Greg Cromie. No.
Hey!
Yeah, so your street photography, is it people? Is it more, I know you do a bit of architecture and...
Yeah, it's mostly, my definition of my street photography is that I document how people interact with their world.
Yeah.
And I only took up street photography in about 2015, about 2014. My wife of 18 years passed away in 2013 and left me with 4 kids. We were all pretty broken at the time. 2 of those kids were foster kids who were still part of the family. And my sister saw that I was in rapid decline. Oh, sorry, the microphone.
That's right.
My sister saw that I was in rapid decline mentally. I was pretty broken. And so she took me to a camera event at Jeff's shed in the city. And we both walked out with Canon DSLRs. And her plan was to get me out doing something other than, sitting at home, withering away through grief. And it just really caught me. It was the perfect solution at the right time. It didn't, a decade of therapy also helped.
Yeah.
But getting out in the street allowed me to see that love and life still go on, because, and it felt like I was almost like, and I often use this analogy that I'm like a snorkeler on a reef when I do street photography. I don't interact. I don't ask people to pose. I don't interfere with the scene that's going on. I'm just there to observe it. And if the moment is right, I'll take a photo. Because that helped me deal with my grief, that I could see that love and life and happiness and sadness, they were all still going on around me, and it was okay.
Thank you for sharing all of that, by the way.
Oh, that's no problem at all. I'm very open with my experiences. And so even to this day, you know, a decade or more later, I still very much love that. It's not people watching, it's not voyeurism, it's just observation. And as I've matured in street photography, for me now it's becoming more about how are we interacting with time and space in this very moment. You know, what's going on that this person just happens to be passing through that beam of light that's traveled at 300,000 kilometers a second to bounce off their face and hit my camera lens.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty magical.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of fall into a bit of a mysticism about it almost.
Yeah, right. So it's being spontaneous is sort of quite important.
Yeah, yep.
So how much do you plan? Do you just go, okay, I've got from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. I'm going to be in this area.
Yep.
See what happens.
Probably even less than that.
Okay.
Generally, I've gotten to a point with my photography where if I see good light coming through the window, then I start to get itchy feet. So I go, oh my gosh, the light is amazing. And so I'll grab my camera and I'll head out the door if I can. And I work from home and I work for myself, and I live in a city in South Yarra. So it's, you know, there's just people around all the time. There's scenes happening. There's these moments in time and space that some I capture and some I don't.
Wow.
You know.
Do you ever go out when it's bad conditions just to test yourself?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I go at night just to mix it up.
Is that a challenge, or is that just
it's a big challenge, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I find it a big challenge. And I think because previously my camera gear wasn't really supporting super low light photography.
Yeah.
But I've upgraded since, and I've got a better camera and a much better lens. It's got a faster aperture, and so I'm managing low light situations much better.
Yeah.
Impressive. But yeah, so if the light is right, then I'll go out. And in fact, when I was saying this to a peer the other day, that my street photography process is that I look for the light first, not the composition. So I look for the light that is appealing, that's falling in a certain way. Maybe there's a shaft dropping down between two buildings. Maybe it's golden hour and the shadows are long, but the ground is golden otherwise. I always look for the light first. Then I look for the composition opportunity.
Interesting.
And then once I've got those two things, I just wait for the hero of the shot to walk in. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
That is so alien to me, coming from a video background, because it's all composition first.
Yep.
And especially in a social media perspective, when it's the narrower frame.
Yeah.
I feel like I mention this every podcast, so this is new to you, but it's
Yep.
boring to people who listen to us. But it's just so focusing on making sure those key things were right. But not only that, you're not just trying to, if someone's like looking to the side, talking to someone, you have to make sure that if they're holding a champagne glass, it's not too close to the edge of the frame, because that's where the like button and the comment and the shares and stuff is going to be.
Oh, wow.
And so you need to keep all of the rules of framing when it comes to social media are surprisingly high. And some people, there's those losers who sell like courses on how to do video and photo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some
idiots.
Yeah, some of them are fine. The sort of dude bro-y video types, personal brand sort of thing is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Part of their template package will be green zone. This is where you want your face to be. This is where you want your subtitles. And it's like, well, there's an extent to that, that's true.
Yeah.
But it's like, it also limits what could be possible in your video.
Yeah, I couldn't work that way, because then I would lose sight of, the actual subject, that moment.
Yeah.
Because I'd be too worried about fitting things into certain spaces.
My hot take when it comes to that sort of stuff, because, a few people that I've talked to recently are trying to do more videography and even start personal brands. And I'm like, just nail the story and nail your intention of why you're doing it and who it's for.
Yeah.
And then the rest will come into place.
Yep.
And you just have to do it rather than wait. I'm not to the extent where I have my camera on my strap and I'm just like vlogging or whatever, but
everything you do.
Yeah.
And now I'm stirring my coffee. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah. Some people do that.
Oh yeah, they film a little bit too
Everything.
much.
They'll film a day in my life, and
I've got the
I
Meta
find those fascinating.
glasses,
Oh, have you?
but I'm not vision impaired per se. So anytime I wear them, people are like, "Ah, you got glasses. Why is it flashing?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, smile.
I'm concerned about that stuff, and I find street photography interesting because when I was 17, as part of the media class, we did street photography in the city.
Oh,
We were just
wow.
allowed to walk around and take photos of whatever. I
Yeah.
took photos of motorcycles. And if I can find an odd one and pull it up as we're talking now, I'll try.
All right.
But I
that'll be
don't
good.
know. Yeah.
Stay tuned. It's going to
There was
happen.
a really good one with, I'm going to feel so bad explaining it if I can't find it, but it was an orange motorbike and it had an apple box on the back that had
Ooh.
flowers on it. And it was really green and white and the contrasted really nicely and
Yeah.
bit of,
I think I've seen that bike parked outside a cafe in Coburg. I'm fairly sure.
I think it is a cafe bike.
I think
And
it might
so
be.
maybe I'll
Yeah.
actually find a photo online and
Maybe.
use that and
Track it
claim it's
down.
mine. No, I'm
Yeah.
not going to do that.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Anyway, whilst out on this excursion, someone was trying to take a photo of a person and they had a negative reaction
Yep.
and started yelling and eventually threw a water bottle at them.
Wow.
Now, that's not the worst possible thing that could happen, but
No,
it
I've
was a
had
little
some
bit
worse.
scary for that
Yeah.
young girl who
It would be.
did that. So, have things gone wrong for you?
Yeah, they have. I mean, I've had the odd person challenge what I'm doing. And I'm not Bruce Gilden. I don't walk up and stick the camera in someone's face. I look for the light, I set up, I'm not hiding, I'm standing in plain sight, I'm framing it, and then the person walks through the scene. And that's when I take the shot. And I'm not using burst mode or it's just a single shot, and it worked or it didn't. It's just street photography. It's not worth someone getting into a fight over.
Yeah.
It's I'm not selling these prints. I'm not doing anything commercial with them. It's my art, and it helps me understand the human condition
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
my condition.
Yeah.
From my experiences. But I have had people come up and challenge me. Yeah, and sometimes I'll get some people come up and say, "You don't have a right to do that." It's like, well, it's just a photo. I can show you the photo and I can delete it if you want it gone. But just so that you're aware, I actually do have a right to do that. It is actually legal for me to photograph in public. But I do it in a disarming way. I don't get righteous and things like that. I have had more recently, and maybe this is more a sign of the times that I'm having this more now than I ever have. People that are either affected by drugs, alcohol, or some other situation. Sometimes they'll challenge me, and that can be a little scary because they will often, it'll be more confrontational.
Yeah.
So a couple of months ago, I had a situation. I was on one side of the road, and on the other side of the road was 4 lanes of peak hour traffic early in the morning, and there was a guy there, and he was behaving very erratically. And then a young woman walked past who looked to be like she was on her way to work. She was dressed well, had a work bag, that sort of thing. And he started yelling at her and then started throwing rocks at her and then started chasing her. And I'm on the other side of the road seeing all of this unfold, and there was no one else around. Plenty of traffic, but no one stopped. And so I yelled out at him. I just yelled out, "Hey," just to break that, his focus. And he stopped and turned around and locked eyes on me, and he marched across those 4 lanes of peak hour traffic without looking. Cars were screeching to a stop, and this guy is coming up to me. And I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover, Joe.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I know, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I spent about 10 minutes talking to him and disarming.
You Uncle Iroh'd him.
What is that?
Uncle Iroh is a character from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and someone attempts to mug him at one point, and he just talks him down.
Talks him down. Well, that's what I had to do. And I felt quite threatened because he came right up to me. And I was shooting with a very small camera. I've got a very small old, it's like about 10 years old, 11 years old, Fujifilm X70. And it just slips into my pocket. It's a fixed lens. It's a little compact number. And he started talking about throwing hands with me. And I said, "No, you don't want to throw hands with me. I'm not a threat. I don't know how to throw hands. I can see that you do, but..."
Yeah.
And just talked him down, and then he wandered off, and that was fine. And then later that same morning, I was on a different part of Chapel Street, and I was kind of squatting down low next to a power pole, and I was shooting up at like a nice building, and it was right near a pedestrian crossing. And this guy walked up, and he came right at the camera, and I'm looking at the screen, because I'm shooting low. I've got the screen
Yeah.
out. And he walked right up to me and like 20, 30 centimeters away, unbuckled his pants and dropped his pants and said, take a photo of my D, right? And so I instantly stood up and went, no, I'm good. But his pants were down around his ankle, and there were kids walking to school and a mother with a pram, and it was just such a bananas morning that those two things happened on the same day. And it really shook me, and I stopped going out for a while. And so I kind of changed my focus, and I started doing a project at the local skate park.
Right.
And it's a bit of an ongoing thing that I've been doing for years. There's a skate park, beautiful Pran skate and basketball park.
I know it, yes.
Yeah, and they remodeled it a few years back. And it's an amazing space, beautiful community. And so I started going there and photographing them because I felt safer with that mob than being out on Chapel Street.
So crazy.
Yeah, it was a bit crazy. And, like I said, I'm not a fighter. I just have to try and do my best to disarm the situation as well as I can. And luckily, I've never been struck or anything.
Let's hope, praying that stays the case.
Yeah, let's hope that it stays that way. But the podcast is still early, so you might take a swing at some stage if I say something.
Let's see. What's your time?
I'll get my camera out.
You're quite into camera gear and tech. It's a big part of the shows that you do.
Yeah. Yep.
What got you? I know how you got started in photography, but what got you more into camera gear over time?
I think because I became a bit of a self-appointed advocate for Fujifilm, and I started writing reviews for, I started a blog when I was planning to go on my first trip to Tokyo. It's 2 years after my wife died, and I thought I need a break, and I've been wanting to go to Tokyo forever. And so I've lost my train of thought, sorry.
You're in Tokyo, you've got a blog.
Blog. And so I started a blog to document my journeys, in my days in Tokyo. And so what I would do every day when I was away, because my kids were still, young teenagers, I would write a letter home every day, detailing my exploits, asking how they were, the things I'd seen, the things I'd done. And then that later formed like a journal, an online journal that I published on my blog. And then that resulted in someone seeing some of my articles and saying, hey, do you want to come and write gear articles for us? Because I was starting to write about my Fujifilm kit in those blogs. And then that sort of one thing led to another, and all of a sudden I'm writing reviews for shotkit.com.
All right.
And I wrote for them for quite a number of years. I don't anymore. But, over the course of my years working with them, I've owned, tested, and or reviewed every Fujifilm camera and lens that there is.
Wow.
Or that there was at the time, from the X and the GFX series. And that just sort of, it gave me a bit of a leg up in terms of having some credibility about knowing what I was talking about. Because I'd shot with this gear. I wasn't like, I just hadn't been sent a spec sheet and expected to write a review. I got the camera. I took my own product shots. I didn't use the brand's product shots. I wanted it to be more authentic and more relatable to people, and so I always took my own photos.
What's street photography like in Tokyo or Japan, compared to
It's
Melbourne
like
or
a
Australia?
Dream.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's an amazing space. I mean, Japanese people, things have changed a little bit because over-tourism has resulted in some new rules and laws coming in for foreigners, for visitors, and for photographers in certain areas. Some areas you can no longer go in to do photography because over-tourism and just tourist behavior resulted in, especially in some traditional areas in Kyoto, photographers were harassing geishas, working geishas, real geishas, as they were coming out of their homes or their places of business. Tourists were almost manhandling them to pose, and so the government went, no more for you.
That's awesome.
No more geisha, But yeah, street photography in Japan's a dream. And when you're out doing street in Japan, you will see so many other photographers walking around with, Leicas and they love Leicas.
They're sort of full tilt into their own niches over there in their interests.
Yeah. Ricoh GRs were really popular. Leicas were popular. And a lot of Fujifilm shooters. And when I went over the first time, I met up with a Japanese street photographer. And he wasn't like a famous person or anything like that. He was just a family guy who loved getting out after work. He worked in the Shinjuku area, and we spent that night walking and then drinking in a little izakaya with like 2 other people.
That's how you do it.
And we just drank all night and talked and told stories and laughed. And
Dude, when I was in Osaka around New Year's, this year actually,
yeah,
the drinking culture there, they are so social, but they're friendly drinkers. Like they're
they
not
are.
getting into fights with each other, or not
No,
that I saw at least.
no, they're quite. I mean, their culture is very different to ours.
Yeah.
I mean,
No
we've
one
got
was
that.
reaching for their car keys or anything like that afterwards either. It was incredible.
No, they
Yeah.
all just got on the train and
Got
it's
home before
amazing.
midnight.
But alcohol over there is so accessible. I don't drink anymore. I had a drinking problem and I stopped, and that's cool. But when I was in Japan, I was very much a drinker, and every floor in my hotel had a Asahi vending machine at the end of the hall. And you go into a convenience store, whether it be Family Mart or a Lawson,
Oh, yeah.
and the alcohol was just so cheap. And you could buy like 1.5 litre cans of Asahi
Yeah.
that came with this carry handle that you snapped onto the can so you could pour it. And like their drinking culture is out of control, but you don't see it on the streets.
Yeah.
You don't hear of the reckless driving because of alcohol or any of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they have their moments.
I'm sure, yeah. But it's not like Australia where it's
No.
people get drunk and a little bit angry, and
Yeah,
the last thing you want to do is take a photo of them.
yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's very true. And just such friendly people. Like,
So you've been every year for 8 years or
no,
something?
no. I went every year for 4 years.
Okay.
I had 4 visits. Tokyo the first time, and then I did a Osaka, Hiroshima, Kyoto trip.
Yep.
It was a bit longer, and that was pretty amazing. I was in Hiroshima on the International Day of Peace, which was pure coincidence.
Yeah.
I jumped on the Shinkansen early one morning from Osaka, Shin Osaka Station, and went out to Hiroshima. I can't remember how long it is, but gosh, that was a mind-blowing journey. 350 kilometers an hour, like drinking a beer and a hot meal in a train was just bananas. And taking photos out the window of, rice paddies and old farmhouses. And
For me, it was when we took the Shinkansen from Osaka to Tokyo, the pork katsu sandwich where they cut the crusts off and it's a perfect rectangle.
yeah.
The best.
There's another thing that they do it from. They do it from a lot of the big stations in Tokyo and other around the country. I think it's called an ekiben, and it's a bento, but you buy it from the train platform.
Yes.
And
My brother got one, yeah.
and some of them, the boxes aren't hot, and they've got this beautiful packaging, and they'll be in these little bamboo boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them, they've got this thing where you pull this tab, and they have a self-heating thing. I don't know how it does it, and it heats up the food.
It's
And
impressive.
so, and then the lady will come along with the trolley and will sell you beer and snacks. And it's such a civilized way to travel.
Yeah.
I love it.
The funny last anecdote I'll say about Japan was I walked into a camera shop, just one of those big mega electronics department stores that was like 12 stories or whatever. And I decided to check out the Tamron aisle, and it was unmanned and it had the old logo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So if you see the blue Tamron logo, that
Yep.
is the old
old
logo.
Yeah.
But then again, when you've got these little stands in hundreds, if not thousands of stores around the world,
Yeah.
making sure they're all updated,
Yeah.
it's impossible.
And Japan's funny like that. Like some things they'll update. They could be the most modern society operating with the most antiquated systems.
Yeah.
Like their future tech is bananas, but everything's done by paper.
That's right.
Yeah.
And physical media is still really popular. They will,
huge.
animated
Yeah.
shows and anime will, when they have the meeting about whether we should continue for another season, physical media sales is a big consideration,
Yeah.
which is so strange given that everything is streaming
And they've got like one of
nowadays.
the fastest internets in the world. And
Yes.
now I know why, because there's no traffic. Everyone's filling out paper forms. But yeah, there's something really special about Japan. I kind of, Tokyo especially, I went back to Tokyo twice more, and then COVID hit.
Right.
And my partner, last time I was there was in 2019 on my own. And my new partner, Sasha, she was there in 2019 as well, but not together. And so we've never been together. So it's on the cards at some stage. We're gonna do the trip.
That sounds so
together.
exciting for you guys.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool because we both love Japanese. We have Japanese furniture at home. We have homewares. We have, huge fandoms around Japanese culture. So
To wrap up the show,
Already?
yeah,
I feel like we only just got started.
we've been going for 35 minutes or something like that. 37 minutes.
It's your show, so.
I have to clean all this up at some
I
point.
know,
Yeah.
true. Yeah, sorry.
Now, we wrap up the show by the previous guest leaving a question for you. You don't know who they are, and
Oh, wow.
and so they don't know who you are either. And so the question for you is, if you could shoot anywhere in the world, where would you like to shoot?
Well, my instinct is to say Tokyo, but that's...
Bam, already done it.
Already done it. If I stick with Japan, I'd love to go and do a project in Hokkaido, in the very north of Japan, coastal towns. I'd love to go and photograph small fishing towns, that still have these little boats that go out and come back every day.
What attracts you to that subject matter?
I think there's an aesthetic to Japanese everything, but I don't know. I've seen photos of it and it's just really appealed to me. I've done big cities, and I photograph in a big city 2 to 3 times a week. And I'd love to go to somewhere like that is so different to what I normally do, to challenge myself. How do I document this now?
Yeah.
How do I get the trust of people? How do I appear non-confrontational?
Yeah.
How do I not get labeled as just another white tourist who's, sticking a camera in someone else's business? All that sort of stuff would have to come into it. So I think that'd be a good challenge for me.
I'll ask you one more question just because of what your response. How important to you is it to challenge yourself with your photography?
For me, I find it really important to constantly look for different angles to what I love to do. Otherwise it gets stale, and I can slip into I've had mental health challenges, not at all shy to say that. And if I'm not careful, I can slip into there's no point going out kind of frame of mind. And so I have to look for new ways to do it. Sometimes I'll go out with a friend. Sometimes I'll go to a whole new suburb. We just went, and a friend and I just went to Collingwood. I hadn't walked around Collingwood for ages. We just went back streets of Collingwood and photographed amazing street art and old buildings and people, walking around the suburb. So I'll look for things that will challenge me within the scope that I love. Yeah. So it's kind of a safe bet.
Yeah.
Almost.
No, for sure. And again, thank you for sharing all of that. And
no
I
worries.
really appreciated this conversation, and
Me too.
you've pumped up my tires in the past as well. I was on your show months and months ago.
Yeah,
I feel like at this rate, and I'm so glad we're finally able to get this together, and we'll have Justin on at some point as well.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Maybe.
He's hard to pin down on stuff. He's always on the move.
He's just like, good looking and hanging out and just like doing his thing.
Sickens me.
I know, right?
Sickens me.
Terrible. Save some for the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
And
Thank
can't
you.
wait to see what else you get up to.
Yeah, look, it's been a great conversation. I can't believe it's already over. I'm used to doing 2-hour live podcasts, so
all right.
this is just like the preamble.
Okay, well maybe we'll do a Patreon exclusive.
Yeah, let's paywall.
We'll do that one live. Yeah.
We'll paywall it. That'd be good. Yeah.
If you want to find out what Greg asked next week's guest, tune in to find out. But thank you everyone for watching. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Bye.